So what's the difference between a really good Slark and a mediocre one? Let's start with some fights for Miracle in the Slark game. Note that Miracle didn't get a free game, he died once in lane, and he was quite passive besides a fight that he participated against the Omni Knight. And while he is jungling, he is on the opposite side of the map and it's nighttime. Not only Slark is great at doing this because you're 100% sure whether you were spotted going to the triangle, but since you have superior night vision, not only you know they don't see you, but you can really pressure and kill the enemy. Miracle's vision sets up this kill. He easily dark packs Willow's ult, and watch how he plays after seeing that Terrorize got wasted. Yes, wasted, because Willow was dead there. He dives tier 3s against the OD because even if Willow has ult, she wasted that spell. You might think that this is a low percentage play, and maybe it is, but not only they have the follow-up of Ember, his team was nearby. Plays like this are sometimes hard to think on the spot, and you should get into the habit of 1. Fighting more than you do after you get a pickoff, or just force objectives if your lineup is good at that, if the waves are pushed. Slark is an incredibly mobile hero, and when Miracle does something like this, even if he doesn't kill someone, 1 or 2 TPs back to the base is a huge deal at this stage of the game. Dire's game is going to be really hard and slow. Another thing that Miracle does really well when fighting with Slark, usually this happens in longer fights, is abusing the tree area while a fight is happening. Watch this fight. Miracle is missing about half his HP, and you can see him looking for a fog spot near the trees to re-engage, but there was a ward nearby, so he cannot regen, and he's forced to go. But whenever a fight unfolds, unless you have to instantly follow up to an RP or something, consider regening a little. He also doesn't want to tank the OD ult because he skipped the one, so not fighting into that is quite important. He wants to keep his mana. You don't want to ult at the start of a fight like this, but he had no choice against the Death Ward. When Drow and OD try to re-engage, see where he's clicking? He's dying to get into a juke spot to start regening and then re-engage. Slark's HP regen is insane at this stage, and you better use it. While Miracle dispels the silence, you can see once again how he's constantly looking for trees to engage and re-engage. More TPs, once again, using the tree area. Then he can dispel Terrorize again, kill the Willow a second time. I actually calculated how much HP he regened during this fight. So Miracle has 1300 HP. Effectively, he had 2300. He regened about 1000 HP just in those few seconds that he used. And it's just a really easy and great tip for you to use in your games. So don't let this ultra kill here trick you. This is clearly the type of game where someone is owning, but not necessarily because of their own merit. I'm not bashing this player, but I'm trying to show you a game that could have easily lasted half the duration that it has. This is a 22-minute game. We are at 22 minutes, right? But the game takes 43 to win. Great players are not great just because they win games, but because they make the least amount of mistakes. Less mistakes means faster games, which also means less chances of you making more mistakes or your team making more mistakes. Watch how the Slark goes at pushing the tier 3 tower after taking Rex. He has an incredible amount of essence stacks, so if he played this right, the game was over. Yeah, when he tries to hide in the trees to get his HP back, he doesn't actually heal. I'm not sure if he didn't notice that. I'm not sure if he doesn't know that you can go more to the right there. I mean, he eventually gets the HP regen, but he wasted like 4 seconds, and 4 seconds is a lot when you have this amount of HP regen. Because he wasn't already in time, his TA dies, and while he kills the Rubik, which was, guess, the right choice considering Alk has BKB, watch what happens. He is now super low HP, he's forced to back down, whereas maybe he could have kept fighting, maybe he could have forced more people, or instead of bouncing away, he could heal a little bit more and man fight later, since he has an insane amount of damage and the BKB was spent. I dislike his lack of lifesteal talent in this game, but whatever. I'm pretty sure he would kill everyone if he had the lifesteal there. This is another replay where we can see a Slark not using his regen properly. In this game, we have a similar scenario, a winning game, because people only send replays where they own. But watch how Slark moves after trying to dive. He clearly had the chance to regen all of his HP, especially because he's level 18, yet he just walks back to tower. While Shaker doesn't have Echo and he knows it, it makes no sense to not wait for the regen, especially since the entire enemy team is alive anyways. While they take the tower, instead of just looking for fog, he drops his items and stick, which clearly shows that he's not used. He doesn't have that ingrained in his brain. Wasting a 1 like this when you're pushing barracks with no ages is a really big mistake and could have cost him the push and maybe the game. Yeah, they killed the AM, but any better player could have killed this Slark. he lives with 300 HP when in reality he could be 700 HP, and later he could have maybe re-engaged if he just regen after the tower fell. Also note how this player doesn't use the in and out tactic that much. He has the barracks are down, and technically the objective was acquired, but Slark is a hero that is so slippery and grows with each attack, so I would have liked to see him just stand in the cliff a little bit, see what happens, see if someone tries to D-ward, and maybe you can go in again. That was even a bigger possibility if he saved his wand, but we know he didn't. This Slark just finishes the Fusel Blade and is pushing the bottom tower, which is not a bright move because top tower is still up 17 minutes in, but that's okay. What he does gives him an opportunity that he never uses, and this is the mistake I want to talk about because it also ties with what we talked about when we saw Miracle play. By forcing this tower, Phoenix TPs, and a fight starts to brew in the top lane, yet the player never even checks it. This Phoenix TP is awful, and should give him the chance to not only use the item he just finished, the Diffusal, but to take a tower and fight with his team. But because he never bothered to check the fight, he didn't saw the Chronosphere was never used when the Void died, and even though he knew Void was nearby, at least from the minimap, we don't know if the Slark even paid attention to that. He dies to a Chronosphere. This game is really interesting because everyone is rank 1000, but this Slark is Divine 3, so let's watch how he fights. This is clearly a game that he was not used to play, you know, those players are a little better than him, but still entertaining to see. Usually when you see high MMR Slarks play, they rarely jump the gun when we're talking about Dark Pact. Dark Pact is your saving grace, and when they go for a Bristleback here, they know that no one is showing, so you know, there might be heroes hiding. But if you just Dark Pact like that in front of great players, they will punish you for that, and that's exactly what happens. You saw the Dark Pact, just use Terrorize. Dire in this game has no instant spell that will kill him, so to force such a quick Dark Pact on a Bristleback, it just makes no sense. Because of this, the fight already starts a little weird. The fight develops a bit and he disengages from the gyro. He once again jumps the gun with the Dark Pact. If we pause this, you can see how he's close range from being stunned before another Dark Pact is up. That was really risky. This is a really bad Dark Pact that he used. If you think I'm exaggerating, he dies seconds afterwards for using Dark Pact on Bristleback while Gyro was hiding and actually had missile him before he pressed the button. In the mid game, Slark's main source of damage are right clicks. So against a Bristleback with his back turned against you, using Dark Pact is not only a mediocre source of damage, but you're wasting precious cooldowns and he gets slapped in the butt. Another thing that I dislike from the way he fought there, and we can see Miracle doing it the right way, is how he uses Phase Boots, Diffusal, and Pounce together. Ideally, Diffusal should be a way for you to slow people down and start attacking after the slow starts wearing off. Then you Phase Boots, and this is what keeps you close to the target, so that then you Pounce as the move speed from your Phase Boots is wearing off. A constant mistake Slarks do is using Pounce to initiate instead of being sure it's not going to miss by using Diffusal Blade. In that OD fight we saw Miracle play, he obviously didn't have range to Diffusal Blade before pouncing, so he just uses it to get in range. But in the big fight, note how he pops drums and Diffusal to then be in close range, but only when the target starts running or turns around, he uses Pounce. That's not only a way to minimize the chances of missing a Pounce, but a way to get more hits going as you chase. Guys, thank you very much for liking, commenting, and subscribing. If you like this type of content and you want to watch more of it, Patreon might be a good way for you to find videos. Thank you a lot and have a good one.